Gee whiz. Gee whiz. Alright, people, thank you for tuning in to another one of these random vlogs or whatever you want to call this episode. I really like the word episode as it's got that psychotic implication. So, what's been going on? What's been happening is I've actually got rid of some of the books, and I'm slightly irritated because I purchased some books last year, not realizing they were site as PDF drive, and the other one where you could just download these books. So I was there stuck with all this clutter, and it's a bit irritating because I've also misused some funds on quarter zips, if that's what you want to call them, the football tops. So that was another irritation, as eventually, once I gathered all of them together, I saw I had 8 of them, which I'm not even going to wear. I haven't bought one of the PSG ones for 45, and I said, why am I buying this? So that's what's been happening. I've been downloading a lot of books, I've been reading quite a lot of books. I've also started looking at a few movies, watching a few films, a lot more. I mean, it's lockdown, we haven't really got much choice, have we? If anyone even cares. I already moved out of that other mess, but I thought it'd be a bit bland just looking at me in the kitchen. So, ta-da! This is the new format, people. This is where I'm gonna be, looking semi-informed or semi-erudite with these miscellaneous titles. So while I'm actually here, before I start waffling or babbling on about who knows what, firstly, I finally purchased this, and it was funny because I've been looking at this book since last year, around November, but I didn't know what the format was going to be. But I'm actually glad that I've purchased it. So, having read the ebook, I think 2 years ago, maybe even three, I always wanted a copy of this, and I didn't manage to get my hands on one until now that I've got the funds. I finally purchased this, so that was enjoyable. What have I read so far this year? I read Heterophobia last year by Daphne Patai. This year, I think I finished the only book I could say I've comprehensively completed was Noguchi's. And I believe it's, no, Decolonizing the Mind is there. I'm not sure where the other title is. Let's see. No, my memory is failing me. Yeah, there it's Moving the Center. I liked how he writes. I like how he thinks. So that's what I completed this year. And I want to keep going. Why am I bringing this up? Because I keep interrogating this idea about females find themselves through the sex and males find themselves through the sport. And when I'm trying to tell or encourage males to define themselves outside of womanity, or woman's conception, they struggle. Because a lot of males, they like to look back and say, oh, I slept with this girl, I slept with this person, no, there was that one night stand, no, the one at the club. And that's the thing to reminisce upon or to value or to cherish. And I'm saying, no, define yourselves in other ways. Define yourself, for me, as an athlete, as a competitor, as a warrior. And I mean, for yourself, not so you could say, baby, look at these action man muscles. But as in, when you look back, when you are conversing with other males, how can you confer value upon yourself, really? Or how can you really cherish and celebrate who you are? And for me, it's not like, oh, I've had these sexual quote unquote conquests as if such a thing exists. I guess, what would you even call that? Sexual approval? I'm not sure. What do you call it? Someone, yeah, sexual charity. That's what I guess you really get from women in this current format and this configuration. Of sexual charity, sexual appeasement. It's not even aggrandizement, just appeasement. So rather than saying, oh, remember that time I slept with thingy here and there, I keep telling guys, start to really think about goals you scored, great games that you played, ways in which you came onto the pitch and altered the landscape, the team, who you signed to even. How can you define yourselves? And I keep going back to this idea of Nedved. Look at how Nedved has set himself up. Okay, he's still a white guy, Eastern European, whatever. But he is essentially a foreigner. Like that's like Rosicki coming in at Arsenal and just bossing it. But you got Nedved who's just come in from Lazio to Juventus, and now he's in that management structure, like just nice. That's what I mean. How can you define yourselves? Where do you as men belong? What can you be a part of? What can you really engage with and use that as a way to center yourself, hence his work, move in the center. So what I'm trying to say essentially is how can we move away of this girl let me enter her vagina or she permitted me to go down on her. How could you say there was this game in which I came on and contributed this, I made this impact. And instead of all of this, she's an 8. Can men finally begin to look at their performances, their games, their matches and say, that performance, that was an 8. That game, that was a 10. So this is something I'm really been thinking through. Also this Mega Drive collection. Literally, the story behind this is it has Streets of Rage 1, 2 and 3. So I bought it. It was an accident actually. I was looking at something, blah, blah, blah. And then I saw something on gaming. And that was it. Someone posted Streets of Rage 4. So I purchased it. And then, see, I'm lying. A girl posted Streets of Rage 4, so I posted that. Also, I started to finally extract the DVDs that I had. So I was going through and I found a PS2 version of Sonic's game collection or something. So I was looking up a compilation. I found a PS3 version. I was looking at a compilation. And finally, I found this for PS4. So that's the story of how I purchased this and Streets of Rage 4 at the exact same time. So that's a bit of a coincidence. And I was thinking about gaming because I've always been under the impression that men can misuse their time indulging in these games. I know there's people who get paid how much money to play. I guess that's some type of voyeurism or something. They get paid by the streaming. And I'm saying that for me, the game that I play is Duolingo. The game that I play is this. The game that I play is sport, is football. The game that I play is gym and fitness. That's how I think my time is best compensated and rewarded. I think that's what I'm meant to be doing with my time and my talents. Sitting down in front of PS4, I know it gives you a sense of accomplishment. It might even give you a sense of identity, but for me, I don't think that's constructive. So I don't really engage in all of that. So I was saying these are some of the ways for me in which as men we can be taken off our path, or not even as men, as man, not as I prefer to say, taken off our path, and we get so caught on another person's idea that we neglect who we are, which comes back to another idea actually, or film. I know I watch a lot of documentaries, a lot of them, and I've actually had to chill and watch just random films recently. And I mean, Thomas Wattenberg, I realised, was doing something, he wrote a book on film. One of the films discussed was Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and also The Matrix. So I might flip through that book. But I've always been skeptical of generic films. I've always been inclined to think, how am I using my time? What am I going to gain from the day? How will this benefit me? So if I'm watching this movie, how will this movie benefit me? What will I gain from watching it? Further, I don't want to be caught in another person's ideas. I always tell people, like, I'm glad, same way I spoke about the sport and achievements, I'm glad to get through books. I'm glad I could say this is concretely what I've achieved, whereas other people say, I've been in this relationship for this amount of time, or something like that, or I have 3 children, blah, blah, blah. But this for me, I enjoy this. I enjoy going through documentaries. I enjoy taking random notes and trying to make sense of my world. As I say, the active literacies, speaking, reading, writing. But learning languages, these are things that I think are worth of my time. Where I was going with this is I think there's a lot of things that could really hijack your time, your energy, your resources. You know the PEM thing, pursuit, engagement and maintenance of sex, is what will diminish a man's life force and your psychological resources. I think with film, you're really immersed in another person's idea. And whilst that can be enjoyable up to sometimes, seeing what it is they're delivering, at some point you have to go beyond that apprentice stage and start to produce your own material so you can captivate others. I mean, look how much time people spend in front of Netflix. I used to watch CSI, hours and hours, hours and hours. I mean, Netflix has messed it up because it just condensed everything, so you're going to misuse 10 hours of your time just like that. As in the past, that 10 hours would be across 10 weeks. And you just sit back and you think, all this time I was hijacked, held hostage to a television screen, and I could have been invested in myself, doing greater things. So that's my thinking why I'm never a fan of Netflix or even video games. I actually bought this as some sadistic, voyeuristic thing to see some other person play it. I guess just to have it, really. I think that's one of the things I kind of do, which I'm reviewing, just buying things aimlessly on this, in a sense of, I don't even want to say nostalgia. There's some type of collectible value, of course. It's Streets of Rage and Shinobi. But in terms of the permanence, I'm not sure if exactly how I live right now facilitates being able to uproot myself and just leave in a few days. I mean, if they roll out this vaccine thing, I don't think I could do the fake patch, nor am I able to just depart Exodus or something like that, go to different places. Those are my quick thoughts in it. I don't want to go on too long. I just want to say subscribe to Jack Cameron's channel. He's got a new channel. I think he made it 4 months ago. And subscribe to Mel Fate's channel, and anyone else, I'm going to try and encourage you to subscribe. Thanks to everyone who comments on my videos. Keep subscribing.